Put in, this is a cheese thermometer, but you could use any thermometer. And we're going to slowly heat it up to 180 Fahrenheit. Very slowly, stirring constantly so that it doesn't stick to the bottom. It's at 180. You need to keep it there for about 20 minutes or more. 20 or 30 minutes is fine. Once the thermometer reads 180, mine's a little bit past, that's okay. You need to keep it at 180 for about 20 to 30 minutes. And the way I do that is I just turn the stove off, put a lid on it, and leave it there for about 20 to 30 minutes. It's been about 30 minutes for me. Put the thermometer back in, stir it. Now you want to cool this down to at least 110. So I prefer to cool it down in a sink full of water to make it go faster. You could leave it on the stove, but it forms a skin and then you got to stir it back in. So I'm going to cool it down to about 110, and then I'm going to add the whey. Try not to get any water in your yogurt. Okay. The milk is at just about 110. So now I'm going to add about half a cup of whey that I had saved from straining my last batch. You could use a quarter to a half a cup of leftover yogurt or the whey. The whey lasts longer in the refrigerator. You want to stir it in really good. Make sure it's all in there. Then you want to put the lid on it, and you want to keep it in a warm place for 12 hours. I typically put it in my oven with the oven light on, and that keeps it warm enough. And when the 12 hours is over, it should be solidified. If it's not, it was probably not warm enough. You can keep it in a warmer place, and you can still keep it out longer than that until it solidifies. It's been more than 12 hours, probably been about 14 hours that I had it in the oven with the oven light on so it stayed warm. And we have yogurt. The stuff floating on the top is the whey. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put some of this in a strainer with some cheesecloth so I can strain a lot of the whey out and make it like Greek style. I use this plastic measuring cup with a strainer over the top, and then I put cheesecloth in there. And then I take the yogurt, I spoon it in. I keep some of it loose. See, this is what it looks like. I'll fill up the strainer to the top, and when this is done straining, it'll be Greek style yogurt. The longer you leave it, the more whey comes out. You could leave it for about 6 hours, and it'll be so thick that you could use it as sour cream or a cream cheese. You could put seasonings in it to make a dip. I often do make this a dip as well as like a cheese, like a cream cheese, and spread it on toast or whatever. It's filled up to the top, and it'll shrink down obviously as the whey drips out. And you could leave this in the refrigerator or you could leave it out. It's not gonna go sour. It's okay to leave it out for another couple hours if you need to. What I do is I'll fill up, if you were to just use this whole pot as yogurt unstrained, you'll get about 4.5 quarts of yogurt. So I'll strain what I put in the colander there. The rest I'll put in here because I use this for smoothies for the kids. Or I use it when I make chicken curry and it calls for yogurt as the sauce. And again, it's plain unsweetened, so you can sweeten it any way you want. I use honey and berries for the kids. I got about 2.5 quarts of loose yogurt. The rest is straining right now, but again, all of it together makes about 4.5 quarts. And if I feel like straining some of these later, I can. I'll leave these loose. If I want extra Greek yogurt later, I will strain them. Otherwise, I'll just leave them in the refrigerator. They'll last a few weeks in the refrigerator. You can use the next, you can leave a 1/4 cup of some yogurt left over to make a new batch, or again, you can use the whey. In the beginning, after you put the whey in the pot with the milk that's been heated and cooled, you can actually fill these up ahead of time and put those in a warm spot so you don't have to ladle them later. You can just keep them in the jars, keep them in a warm spot like the oven, like I did with the pot, and they'll be solidified in the jars, so it saves you a step of ladling them. Okay, it's been a few hours, and we have really, really thick yogurt. See that? That's really thick. This is the thickness you can use as sour cream or a dip. And then I'll just put it in the refrigerator and it should last a couple weeks. So here it is. This is how thick it is. If you don't like it this thick, if you have left it too long, you can just add some more of the whey back into it and it'll be just fine. I like it like this because once I put honey or berries in it, it loosens it up anyway. And the kids like it. It's almost like an ice cream consistency.